Hey guys, what's going on? What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Hopefully you're doing well. What's going on Instagram? And yeah, I'm happy to be here. This is your CFP, normally on YouTube, but now thanks to technology, I'm a little bit of everywhere, including Instagram. By the way, if you're looking on Instagram, which I know is super duper convenient, today we're going to take the whiteboard out. So you might want to hop over to Facebook or YouTube, either one, so you can see the screen share, because I can't do the screen share on Instagram. So today we're going to talk about, I think, something that's cool and interesting, like all my topics. and excuse the I guess the casualness. Me and my wife just got off a walk, and I came in here and I was like, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and do this thing. So it is Casual Wednesday for those that are joining. Hey, what's going on, Ninja 345? So this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to be talking about where the majority of the wealth is concentrated and how you can build a practice. So almost like a very quick 30,000 foot flyover of, if I was a financial advisor starting my practice today, how would I target somebody? How would I pick what I'm going to offer them, and how would I build a personal brand? So this would be, I would imagine, really valuable for somebody that's like, I can't get enough clients, I don't know who to talk to, yada, yada, yada. So we're going to kind of go through all that. So if you're joining me for the very first time, or you're watching this replay, my name's Dominique Henderson. Call myself the CFP on YouTube. Been doing YouTube for a very long time. I have my own wealth management practice. This is my 4th year running my own firm. I've been in the industry for over 20 years. And I want to help the next generation of aspiring and existing financial professionals. So that's me. And every Wednesday we go live to do this. And sometimes I bring on a guest. Sometimes you just get me. And today you're just getting me. So let's kind of hop into what I want to talk about. And I'm going to use, again, I'm going to be using a lot of technology today, and I hope I don't screw it up. And if I do, hopefully you love me enough to forgive me. So hopefully that is the case. What is going on, Steven? So let's share my screen real quick. I want to show you this graphic because I think it's really, really, it provides a ton of context, because a lot of people are like, dude, where do I find my clients? And how do I get them? How do I get people to do business with me? Right. And we're going to get into all that. But first I want to show you something, because a lot of people don't realize this. So let's call it pre-COVID. We're talking about 100 trillion in wealth to be managed. And on this screen that I'm showing you right now, you can see where that wealth is concentrated, right? You got Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, you got Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, UBS, yada, yada, yada. But this is if you do the math real quick on the 100 trillion number, and you can go to Brookings Institute and to verify me, but there's 6 to 8% of the wealth that is managed by these guys. So that means there's 90% left for the incoming wave of financial advisors and the existing financial advisors to manage. And I hate to leave out financial coaches. Continue to watch, but I'm talking about specifically money management right now on that side. And I know most financial coaches don't do that part, but just stay with me, because a lot of this stuff you're going to be able to use if you want to build a firm. Okay, so with that being said, now that we know that there is wealth to be managed, it really begins to be like a matter of, how do you go about this particular thing? Hey, what's going on, Greg? Because since it's out there, you then have to just kind of diagram how this is going to work for you and how you might build a practice. So it doesn't really matter if you're independent RIA, if you're a hybrid, if you're broker dealer, if you're captive. I guess captive, if you're not selling AUM, then this doesn't apply. But if you are, it really doesn't matter which structure you're in. You can all, kind of, what I would say, do this if you kind of use this rubric. So that's what we're going to talk about now. So let's kind of break out my little whiteboard iPad, and let's see if that works. We're going to try to make it work today. So hopefully you're seeing my iPad. And if you're not, I apologize, because I'm seeing it. If you're not on Instagram, hop over to Facebook Live or YouTube or LinkedIn, and I think you can see all this stuff. Okay, so the very first thing you need to do is find a target. That's the first thing, right? So let's just mark that as one. Second, you got to pick a niche, right? And I know a lot of you may be a little bit skeptical on that, but I'm going to go into that. And then you got to build a personal brand. Okay. So let's go through those real quick, and then we'll do Q&A. Okay. So I think that'll be good. If that's good, give me a thumbs up. Hopefully you can hear me. I haven't even did a sound check or anything, but we're flying by the seat of our pants today. Okay. All right. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate that. All right. So first of all, when you're talking about finding a target, now naturally you might want to just shift to that 90% of mass affluent, but the mass affluent isn't all in that 90%. The mass affluent would be people with less than $1 million of investable assets. And let's talk about who the mass affluent typically go to. They're going to typically go to like a discount broker, Vanguard, Schwab, Fidelity, what have you, all those kind of things. Sometimes they will go to like a broker dealer channel. So let's think about places like, Edward Jones or Ameriprise, things of that nature. And then the captive channel they may go to, so like a Northwestern Mutual, places like that. So those are so you can know about channels. Then, so that's where the mass affluent is going to be. High net worth are going to probably gravitate more towards the independent RIAs. I would say that they overlap, but a lot more people with high net worth are going to be in the independent RIA channel as far as their choice for where they're going to have their money managed. There will be some BD stuff. So, right, there's people at Edward Jones and Raymond James that manage clients that have more than, $1 million, maybe less than 5 million, sometimes even more than that. And then you go into like family offices with ultra high net worth and things of that nature. So those are the three that you want to pick. So let's call it mass affluent. All right. And I'm going to be writing and trying to look up and do all this stuff at the same time. So forgive me. And then you got high net worth, right? And then you have ultra high net worth. Okay. So those are the three basic categories of people for you to go to. And most advisors that at least listen to me on a regular are somewhere between that, call it 0 to 5 years in experience. And so you're probably going to be more comfortable with the mass affluent. And there's plenty of them for you to build a client, roster of, 100, 150, even less than that, depending on how you price your services, which we're not going to really get into today. That's a different scope. But you got to find a target first, right? And all these people have all these channels, these mass affluent, high net worth, ultra high net worth, all of them have different needs. Okay. So you need to pair their needs with your specificity, like what you do well. So that it's always good to kind of know that, like, are you good at investments? Are you good at the planning? Are you good at insurance? Are you good at tax? Right. It's good to kind of think through that first before you try to, go into a sleeve. Then after you find where that specificity is, I would say if you're going to let's just say you're going to do mass affluent, right? Because we were saying, Dominique, if you were to build something today, what would you do? So let's just say I was going to do mass affluent, right? So then the next thing I need to do is I need to pick a niche, right? Now, why pick a niche? There's this saying about there's riches in niches. And I would agree with that, right? So what is a niche? It's just a specific characteristic that's common to the people I want to serve, right? So I like specificity. Let's say if I wanted to work with dentists that own their own practice, but we're looking to monetize in the next 10 to 15 years, right? So there's going to be mostly business owners. They're going to have a lot of complexity. They're going to probably need an array of services, not just financial planning. They may also need some type of retirement services for their employees. They may also need some type of fractional CFO stuff. They may need all types of things, right? And I would list those out. But do you see the power in picking a niche? Because not only do I have the wealth management part of it, I also have all these other ancillary things that makes the relationship a lot more sticky than just saying, I'll help you do retirement planning, right? That's great, but so does everybody and their mom want to help with that. So if you get more specific about your niche, then you can be a lot more successful with the type of clients, because then that leads to, so let's just say I did the dentist, business owner, small business owner, right? Okay. And there's many more you can go through, right? You can go by specific company. You can go by, seniority in company. You can go by profession, teachers, lawyers, doctors, whatever. So hopefully you get how you pick a niche. After you do that, then you want to start thinking about, and by the way, I just wanted to throw in parenthetically, if you're in the industry and you have not picked a niche, maybe throw that in the comment. Let's go back and forth. I would love to kind of unpack that in our Q&A part. Then after that, you're going to want to build a personal brand. Okay. So that's how all these things are starting to tie together, right? If you pick a mass affluent channel and then you say, I want dentists, business owners that are doing, I don't know, more than $1 million of revenue a year. Then you start to say, okay, well, how do I get in front of those people, right? So there's so many different ways to do that. And matter of fact, we don't have enough time to do that today. But what I can tell you is what you should avoid, right? One of the things I would avoid is generic content, right? Now, I just gave you all these specifics on these business owner dentist people, right? I don't want to just send out some type of, canned newsletter that everybody would get that would not be specific to business owners, because they would otherwise not have any reason to, ask me for help, because they don't know that I can help them, because my information or my content is not being specific to what their need is. So you want to kind of consider that when you are picking a niche and starting to personally brand yourself as what you do and who you help, right? You also don't want to be really spammy with your correspondence, right? So you don't want to connect with them on LinkedIn and then send them 15 messages over 2 weeks saying, please meet with me, please meet with me. Oh, I see you're a dentist, please meet with me, right? You don't want to do that. Hey, I want to manage your money, please meet with me. Do you have time for coffee? Well, I guess coffee's kind of out of it now because of COVID, but you get what I'm saying. And that's all about asking for the sale too early, right? You're asking too early on sales pitch, all right? So you got to build a relationship first. There's got to be some, I like to call it the give to get, right? What can you give them in order to get their attention? Maybe there's the 5 things to avoid as a business owner that wants to monetize in the next 10 years, right? That would get their attention. Or how to save 10 to 15% on your tax bill every year, or how to retain key employees. Things of that nature. That's this kind of stuff. So you can develop all this content, and this is part of developing your personal brand. And that's how you will get their attention. And so that is kind of a 3-step process of how you would build your practice and start managing all this money that the big guys aren't touching right now, right? Let's call it 100 trillion pre-COVID. 90% of it is still available, right? So that's a lot of money for you to build off a practice that could generate you well into the 6 figures pretty easily, right? So here's the deal. I am going to hold a masterclass that dives into this a whole lot deeper. Like, so if you're in this, let's call it ballpark, if I'm trying to build my practice, I'm trying to find prospects, I'm trying to get people to, I'm trying to craft how to get people to work with me. Visit jumpstartcoaching.com/masterclass preview. Okay. That's how you can get on the list for when I go into these subjects a lot deeper, and you can make you can fill out an application to join the next masterclass. Okay. So let's stop sharing screen and answer some questions. And I'll put that website up real quick. Here we go. Trying to work with my technology. There we go. There is the masterclass. So if you're interested in that, because you're an advisor and you're trying to grow your practice and you're having a problem figuring out who you need to serve, how you need to price your services, how you get in front of them, any of that kind of stuff that we broadly went over right now, make sure you go to that website, register it. You get more information when we open up the next masterclass. Okay. All right. Now we had some questions that I want to get to real quickly. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate it. Very proud of you, sir. Let me make sure I got the LinkedIn going on too. Questions come in from all these places. Hey, what is going on? Instagram. And I'm sorry, Binion, CM Binion, Brandon Johnson. What's going on, guys? Waving at you. How you doing? And let me see if I got any LinkedIn stuff. That's what I was going to check before I answer questions. Yeah, Stephen, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for all that. Love that you're showing there. And okay, Cody, is Raymond James a good company to work for? I have no idea, my friend. I have not worked for Raymond James. I have coached advisors that work at Raymond James, and I think for the most part, they seem fine. I think they do have a training program. So like if you're not in the financial advisor community already, I think they have like a advisor development program that's 2 or 3 years in nature. You just might want to go to their website and check it out. But I mean, your question points more to this. How do I find out who the fit is for me if I'm trying to get into this industry or I'm looking for a job or any of the above? And you got to do your research, right? I think the best thing to do is to find a mentor. Find a mentor, find somebody that's at Raymond James or used to work for Raymond James or something like that, and just question them, right? Just, hey, how was it there working there? And all that kind of stuff. I think that's the best way to find that out for any place that you want to work, not just Raymond James. You got a couple questions here. Cody is hogging the question feed. So if you want to get a question in, you better do it right now. Is it possible to get on board at a small investment firm out of college with the MBA, or do you have to start off at a large company? I would say it depends. The larger the RIA, the better, because they'll have more open slots. The larger the firm, the more opportunity, period. And as I've said before, it doesn't really matter how you get in the industry. People they get tripped up when they're trying to get into the industry about, I want to go with an independent RIA and fee only and fee based and blah, blah, blah. They get too far down in the weeds with that. When I can just tell you that I've been doing this for 20 years and I've had my fair share of experience all across the industry. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, right? Just get in, get you a job, get experience, and don't misprioritize things like, buying a lot of letters behind your name and things of that nature. Get the experience first, and then your path will start to manifest itself as you get more experience, because you're going to learn more things and you're going to understand what you don't know right now. So that is what I would say. With all the things being equal, do firms with higher net worth clients make more than those with lower? Yeah, I mean, yes, it's a math issue, right? If I got 100 million under assets, if I have 100 million assets under management versus somebody that has 50 million, 20 million, whatever, or even 80 for that amount, it's a matter of how much is their fee schedule, as opposed to how much assets under management they have, and you do the math, and then that's what their revenue is, generally speaking. I'm applying for my first finance industry job out of school. Is it worth putting that I can speak some lesser known? It depends on who the firm serves. So I'm sorry, I'm not putting these questions up. I'm just reading them. I apologize. So for the benefit of those that are on Instagram, this question comes from Cody. He says, if I'm applying for my first finance industry job out of school, is it worth putting that I can speak other languages? So this is what I would say to that. If you have other transferable skills, like you're multilingual, that could be good, but it also depends on who the firm is serving, right? If they're not serving any multilingual clients, then, like for instance, here in Texas, if you're bilingual, you speak Spanish and English, and the firm serves, a Latinx community, then that makes a lot of sense. Like, that's a win. Like, I would hire you over somebody that only spoke English. So it just depends on the firm again. Adam, LLC or S Corp, does it matter? I need some context for that question. I don't know what you mean by that. What else that we have here? Let me check out the LinkedIn questions. There's a couple of people watching on LinkedIn. I appreciate you guys. Instagram, how you doing? Okay. All right. I don't think I have any LinkedIn questions. Cool. What else do we got, guys? Otherwise, dinner is calling. Hopefully that's been helpful. To start your own practice. I am not a tax expert. I will say that the LLC is easier to file. And once you file the LLC, you can either let it pass through like LLCs do, or sole props do, like your Schedule C stuff. That is basically your income, right? Or you can do it as a S corp. So I do know that. And so you just might want to talk to a bookkeeper or CPA or somebody about that. Like, it is good, I would say, to get a good foundation on your why around what legal structure you want, because to try to change that after the fact may be a little bit more difficult than just doing it right in the first place. But I will tell you that you can form an LLC and choose whether or not, choose how you want to be taxed. And you can choose that S corp route or the pass through. So if that helps, typically I would say if you're going to be under $250,000 in revenue, it's probably not going to make that big a difference to do the S corp. And that's another return, right? You got to do 2 returns, one for your business and then one for your personal. So, all right, cool. Cody, you're welcome, man. All right, what else we got? Anything else? Any other questions? We're shutting it down a little bit earlier today just because I want to go eat. All right. So just to kind of recap a couple things. If you have any questions about the masterclass, make sure you get on that. Go to that website, register. You'll put your name and email in, and then you'll get some follow-up emails from me in the next couple of days or something like that before the class starts, where we're going to kind of just walk you through how to build a practice. It's going to be pretty much over my shoulder on how to do that. So that's how that will work. And if there's nothing else, I am going to let you guys go, and we'll see you next time. See you later, Instagram. Thank you for joining, everyone. All right. Have a very, very safe rest of the week. And you guys be good. Bye.